What's going on? So I'm gonna talk about Jane Kennedy Overton. She's got a book out called Plain Jane. If you didn't grow up with Jane Kennedy, then you wouldn't understand. Like when you see the likes of Pam Oliver and Robin Roberts and other African American women that are on sports news and what you see, uh, she was a groundbreaker. She was a trailblazer. She wasn't just an attractive woman who won Miss Ohio back in the early '70s. She was a respected journalist who she did film. She was well. Where do I begin with Jane Kennedy Overton? Um, she did a little bit of everything. Now, her and her former husband Leon Isaac Kennedy were the it couple for us. They didn't even have terms for it back then because black couples and folks were barely getting bit roles and doing bit parts. So it wasn't like what you see now when you got more fluent. It wasn't a lot like that. You had Ruby Dee and Isaac Davis. You didn't have a big fluctuation. And they were a young couple and they did Biden sold a movie together, and Leon had a little bit of a career going, had a career going, he was known. And she was coming along. And she was also, you remember the mini sequence of Let's Do It Again. She was bad. She doesn't get the same kind of vibe as Lynette McKee or Sheila Frazier or Pam Grier or some others soul sisters back in the day, but because she was kind of seen like eye candy and people didn't really know. But when she was on CBS NFL with Brett Musburger, Irv Cross, and Phyllis George, she more than held her own. And she proved to be more than just arm and eye candy. And she did interviews with Muhammad Ali and others. And she was someone that made herself into a staple. She had an exercise video that was around the same time as Jane Fonda's, and it did quite well. She was doing different things. She was not limited by no stretch of the imagination. She was, you know, doing things and making a name for herself. Now, she also had a scandalous videotape that came out. I know nowadays it ain't nothing, but back in the day, that could just wreck your career. Because between Jane Kennedy Overton and Vanessa Williams, can you tell me of two other soul sisters or black folk people that overcame a scandalous, salacious tape, but yet got even bigger? Because she was one of them, her and Vanessa Williams. If they want to share that in common, and that's something to think about, that just because something that comes out and how people get funny with the money and people start to distance themselves in the businesses, it doesn't mean it's the end of your career or your review. She hasn't really been in the limelight like that in years, but she made enough of a mark where she definitely made her presence felt and showed a very strong spirit that wouldn't back down.